So today, we're diving into the story of a musician who's caught right in the middle of a huge controversy. His music is reaching millions of people, but it's also at the center of a really serious accusation, one that kind of blurs the line between just being art and, well, something some people are calling criminal propaganda.
Okay, let's just get straight to the point here. The whole heart of this thing is a statement that is about as blunt as you can get. This isn't just someone saying they don't like his music, this is a massive accusation, and it really sets the stage for everything we're about to get into.
To really get a handle on a claim that heavy, we've got to break it down. So what exactly is the accusation being thrown at this artist? Let's take a closer look at the specific words being used.
The labels are incredibly specific, and they're severe: criminal, terrorist, and, maybe the most telling for what we're talking about today, a creator of propaganda music. We have to be clear. These aren't just, insults. These are charges that carry a ton of legal and social weight.
And this isn't just some vague claim about him glorifying a dangerous lifestyle. No, the accusation is that his music is a direct tool for a specific, very powerful organization, the Cartel Del Noreste. That direct link is the key here. It completely changes the conversation from being about violent lyrics to being about actively taking part in a criminal group's mission.
So, what do we even mean by propaganda music here? Well, in this case, it's music that's made with a very clear goal: to push the cartel's brand, to make their actions seem normal, and to project this image of power. The core argument is that El Makabelico's songs aren't just for entertainment. They're actually a tool for recruitment and really for psychological warfare.
Okay, so that's one side of the story, and it's a pretty powerful one. But, to get the whole picture, we have to look at what the artist himself is saying. Let's jump right into his lyrics and see the story he's telling.
And right away, the whole narrative gets a lot more complicated. We start finding these moments of really deep, personal vulnerability. A call to his mom, a plea for his soul, admitting he relies on her. This is the language of a son, not just a soldier. The lyrics also pull back the curtain on this profound sense of emptiness. This doesn't sound like the triumphant voice of some successful propagandist. It's more like a confession of total inner turmoil, basically saying that all the fame and the notoriety he's gotten, it hasn't brought him any peace.
Now, this is where it gets really interesting. Look at the self-portrait he paints here. This is the image of a struggling writer, fighting with creative anxiety and the pressure of his work. It's this intimate peek into the artistic process that's just a world away from the hardened criminal image described in all those accusations.
So, what are we left with here? We've got two completely different portraits. On one side, the propagandist for a cartel, and on the other, this conflicted, vulnerable artist. This brings us right to the heart of it all, a world just full of these fascinating contradictions.
And right here is where that central conflict just snaps into focus. In his music, you can't deny the criminal persona. He gives these vivid, brutal descriptions of violence. But then, in the same body of work, you find the son and believer, praying to God to protect his kids and declaring himself blessed. So the question is, how can these two voices even exist in the same person? And it seems like El Makabelico is completely aware of this split personality. He actually uses this exact phrase in his lyrics, blessed and cursed, to describe his own existence. It's almost like he's just admitting that he lives inside this paradox, that he embraces both the good and the bad parts of his life.
All of this just brings us right back to our main question. How are we supposed to look at this music? Is it genuine art that's just reflecting a really complex and violent world? Or is it something calculated? Is it propaganda built to serve a criminal organization?
Let's just lay out the evidence side by side. On the art side, you have his family calling him an artist, his own claims that he made it without dealing drugs, and this defiant self-image as a self-made star. But the case for propaganda is just as strong, that explicit link to the cartel and lyrics that basically sound like first-hand reports of their violent activities. The evidence is just in total opposition.
So, what we're witnessing here isn't some simple case with an easy answer. It's a genuine clash of stories, something you can really only call the Makabelico paradox.
And what becomes pretty clear is that inside his own story, his identity as an artist is everything. He really holds on to that validation he got, and he defines his work as something raw and authentic, not just singing, but rapping from the soul. It seems like that self-perception is the lens he sees his entire world through. So, when you strip everything else away, the entire controversy really boils down to this single, powerful idea. One man and two completely different narratives that just can't coexist, both fighting to be his true story.
And that leaves us with a question that goes way beyond just this one musician.
When an artist shows us a dark and violent world with such intimacy, are they just a reporter? Or have they become a participant? It really forces us to ask a fundamental question. Where does a person's art end and their actions begin?